Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. The San Francisco Film Critics Circle has been around for over a decade. We vote on year-end awards in numerous categories. There are about 35 film critics and film journalists from around the Bay Area who comprise the group. For this inaugural, and not to put Josh on the spot, but hopefully annual award, half a dozen of us volunteered to watch 9 narrative features and choose the best, in our estimation, of the lot. At the end of the day, there was a tie, which we could not resolve. We left it at a tie. And the tie is for Best Narrative Feature of the San Francisco Jewish Film Festival is Paradise, directed by Andrei Konchalovsky, and 1945, directed by Ferenc To. Sure. It's sort of superfluous to say anything about this film you're about to see, other than to say we were moved by how evocatively shot it was and emotionally nuanced a portrait it was of community guilt in the wake of World War II. I'd like to present the award now to Ferenc To. I'm so sorry. Hello? Thank you. Mike, congratulations on this wonderful film.
Thanks. Thank you very much. So, after the screening, I will stay for a Q&A, but before I thank you, I need to say thank you for the invitation and this wonderful prize. And so it was a big work, 12 years to work this script and this shooting and editing. So, and for the crew and everybody, for Hungary, and everybody, for the Menemsha, the US distributor. So thank you very much again. And after the screen.
So tell us, this was, the story was based on a short story, is that right? How did you find the source material, and what was it about that story that made you want to make it into a film?
Yeah. So again, thank you for the invitation and this wonderful screening. And so the question and the answer. So it was 2004. My friend Gabor T. Santo wrote a short story, 10 pages, and I read, and I called him. I need to make a movie about this because it's an absolutely new perspective and absolutely new point of view of this topic. And I watched the pictures, and so not a dialogue story, is really visual and really simple, like an antique drama, 3-4 hours in one. And oh, it was so. Wow, it was a wonderful moment when I read this story in the first time, and after watched the pictures and I. But it was 12 years. Because the script, it was 5 years, developed the script from the short story, and of course the financing and the founding and the shooting, it was a long time.
The film also seems like it plays on kind of a Western genre to an extent, and I was wondering how much that influenced you in the making. Was that intentional, or did you find that kind of came out of the material itself?
So when I read the story, and I said it's a Western, it's like the High Noon Fred cinema, and the train arriving, the village, the conflict, the drama, and the train moving, but as a morality, questions, and so it's same structuring, and all the time when we read the script we watch the High Noon, and in the same yeah, it's true, the structuring and the timing, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the Western, of course, but especially in this topic is a new attitude or new point of view, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of point of view, I mean, your two Jewish characters, they don't say very much at all in the film, and it's really not from their perspective at all. And was that in the original story, or you know, how did you decide to not tell it through their point of view?
So these two characters, so they are not real actors in the story. The older is a dancer, and the youngest is a photographer, but everybody from the village, the actors is real well-known Hungarian theater actors, but in the Jews story, I looking for a different way to show the story and the style, because in the beginning we start with the two Jews, and after we develop in the beginning we find a way to push for the society, for the collaborators or the scene, and this is a new perspective of this story, not the son of the clerks and the evil or the bad character. So this is the new in Hungary. When we released in Hungary, it was shocking in Hungary. We take a mirror for the Hungarian society to, and so it's complicated now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is the Hungarian reaction? You said you're holding a mirror to society. What does that look like?
It was really surprising because we are afraid. And after, of course, we start in an international festival premieres in Berlin, and after now we Jerusalem, and after we open the movie in Hungary, but mostly good critics and 30,000 admissions and really good reactions and open and new dialogues about the Holocaust and about this time in Hungary. Now is a new generation, of course, the second or third generation, and after the son of Shaul, Hungary is a different country, I think. So we can tell about this story tough and straight, and about the property questions, about the economical. So it's new and hard, but the audience, and not only Jewish audience, the Hungarian audience open for it, and it's really big success for us, because we are afraid, really afraid.
So you mentioned, new generations and different perspectives in Hungary right now. Did you find that some of the audience, maybe the younger people in the audience, aren't as knowledgeable from what happened, and they're seeing this in a completely new light, or how much do they know about history going into the film?
Yes, the film and the cinema are the best for the education, for the young generations. For example, my children who all the time ask me about this period or the Holocaust, and for this generation the cinema is the easiest way, I think, and most hardest and serious way to understand this topic or this sensitivity, and also we really we want to make an emotional film, emotions, and because the emotions, the connection between the people and the audience and the filmmakers, and not the facts only, not the documentaries, the personal emotions and attitude, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you've succeeded. Let's hear from the audience. We have microphones coming along. Raise your hand, and the mic will come to you.
Some
so
question?
A question over here on your left in the center.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is there any plan to release your film, your wonderful, wonderful film, to the general public?
Question is, are you any plans to release the film in America to the public?
Yeah, we got a wonderful company from LA, Menemsha Films, and we will came out in November, theatrical release in New York, and after to West Coast to end of November. So we start now to working of the distribution. Of course, it's not a blockbuster movie, but a Hungarian language black and white Holocaust drama is not. But who knows? So we believe the story, and we believe in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of you, please tell everyone you know about this film.
So we have one over here on your right.
Hi. Congratulations on your film. I'm going to get up. Yeah. It seemed to me like part 2 of a Academy Award-winning foreign film from 1965, The Shop on Main Street, with Ida Kaminska, that Jan Kadar made in Czechoslovakia. Yes. This is Thank you. It was from 1965, but it was like what happened in the very beginning, and there she was with her little shop. And it is a new subject, but it's certainly, if we're a film, but it's certainly not one that all of us, or not all of us, that I know, that I personally know of what happened in Eastern Europe after the war. So you made a powerful film, and I very much liked all the high noon little things, including the clock with the Hebrew letters. That was really great.
Thank you. So Jan Kadar movie, the shop in the Corso, or so we know this movie, and it was a really powerful movie. But in Hungary, this topic was taboo in the communist period. So Jan Kadar movie was, I think, forbidden in Czechoslovakia also, and after the Oscar award, maybe I think the directors escaped from Czechoslovakia to the US. So I hope I can stay in Hungary. But
okay, there's another question here in the center.
In the Western press, we've read about rising anti-Semitism in Hungary. How does this film play against that backdrop? Is it an attempt to counter it, or is it playing against what seems to be a rising tide there?
Thank you. So it's a shame on Hungary. This movie is actual. I'm afraid from this present time actuality, but the young sometimes doesn't know about this story. That's why we need to tell the story for everybody, and for the young generation, because sometimes they not only in the Facebook or on the streets and demonstrations, and so it's horrible tradition in these countries, not only in Hungary, and so I hope so this movie will help a little bit to understand for the youngs. I hope so.
I have a question back here on your right.
Thank you very much. In addition to the sort of Western motif, this is a thriller like we rarely see. And I feel that the music has a lot to do with the way that that tension builds, and I'm very interested in how you came to your approach on using the use of music and sound, because it's essential.
Yes, the music and the sound background is really important in this movie, because we use real archives elements. The Konidre, for example, from the 20s, is a bakelit, and the gypsy violinist played, and we build up an atmospheric from the horses, from the voices, the atmospheric, and we build up a new voice atmosphere. And really important, this silent movie, this background of the voices. Yes, but of course we are from Béla Bartók country, so the folk music, the traditional Jewish music, the traditional Gypsy and Hungarian folk music was the basic what we want to use in this world, the atmospheric world.
Okay, another question back here on your right. There's a lot of people with questions. I'm trying to get to as many people as I can.
Yeah?
Okay. Good evening. I want to thank you very much for this film. My name is Miriam Beer. I am the daughter of two mother Holocaust survivors, one Polish, one Hungarian. Michinalo. I want to thank you again for this film. There's a lot of truth in it. It's a very strong statement on what went on and what can happen again. I'm very proud to be here and see such a big audience enjoying this film. It may seem scary to some people, but there's a lot more stories, millions of stories just like this that went on. My stepmother, Magdalena Skala Bornstein, was from Abui Santo. May she rest in peace. And it's a very strong statement on the spirit.
Do you have a question?
My question is, what's your next film?
Thank you. Before the next film question, so this movie or this story is a little bit polite for the Hungarian society. In that time, the worst, when we looking for documents and archives in 46 and 47, when some Jews arrived from the camps in a lot of Hungarian village and cities, was really pogroms, and when somebody survived and tried to back to Hungary, and the village people, or mostly in countryside, afraid. And it's a horrible situation, because they are so the truth is much harder than our movie. Our movie is a clever movie for the future, for this handshake is a possible way to surviving or take a mirror for this, but the real truth is much hardest and awful and shame. So, okay, sorry, I need to tell this content because it's not a documentum drama, it's a fiction. So my next movie is in the end of the 19th century story, and about a swimmer boy, a Jewish boy, who won the first Olympic medal, gold medal for Hungary, and it's a wonderful story. He's a poor boy, a small boy, and when he, okay, 3 years, 4.
Right, I think we have time for 2 more questions.
Okay, I have another one back here on your right.
Again, thank you for this film. I was sobbing when I saw the items being buried in the grave there, especially the shoes, so they weren't worn out. What I wanted to ask you was about the music, which was so powerful, especially at that segment. And I know I recognized some of the Jewish themes, such, I don't know if that was Kol Nidre wrapped in there. So I just wanted to know if this was something composed by a Hungarian composer who put several Jewish, I guess the more tragic, sad, minor mode melodies into this. Was it an anthology or a synthesis of a lot of those tunes? That's one question.
So the composer of our movie, Tibor Szemző, and he made 20 or 30 years ago that kind of contemporary music, but he used the elements of the traditional Jewish, Gypsy, and Hungarian folk music. So the roots of Béla Bartók, of course, but he made a contemporary situation, so it's complex, but the archives we looking for in the Hungarian film archives and radios, and we find the traditional piece of Kol Nidre, and so maybe. Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask if there's a survivor in this room. I don't know if Gloria Lyon's here tonight, but just if they can, I'd like to hear a comment from a Holocaust survivor. Anybody?
So there's a question down here, I think. Okay.
My question was, since most people are aware that Hungary was even more enthusiastic than Germany at getting rid of all the Jews there. Do you think that since this anti-Semitism is coming up again, do you think that this is something that is because of ignorance in the Hungarian public, or having grown up in Hungary, were you taught anything about the anti-Semitism of the 30s and 40s?
Yeah, so I hope so never come back, but that's why we need to tell these stories and make movies and write books, and because the youngs sometimes, I don't know why, maybe play with this anti-Semitism cards for the populist political a career or something is on the air, but not, I think. I have 3 children. I got a family in Hungary, and I want to stay there. So I'm not afraid, and I'm not in danger. So it's not. But you know, the politicians sometimes use with these cards, and so that's why we need to make movies and tell stories about this. But my answer, Hungary, I think, changed, but with the democracy and the liberals, open society, of course, came up again the shit, or I'm sorry, so the radicals, and in the communism it was a worse dictator, but it was taboo and silent, and nobody talked about this. But after the 90s, it came back, and it's disgusting, and we're afraid, of course. But now the average Hungarian society, I think, is not anti-Semitism. I hope so.
Thank you, Ferenc. That's all the time we have.